document, at the end of the day, I decided, and not based on that request, to have it postponed for a totally different reason, because I have noticed, or took notice, that there are some remarks or information floating on social media that MPs were the cause that they stopped the deliberation to start because of the complaints they had. The truth of the matter is totally different. When I submitted the 2019 budget on November 15th, the process was completed. But at the 11th hour, we received a letter from the CFT stating that the expenses of the country in 2019, which were put at 503 million, needed to be kept and lowered to the tune of 475 million. Now, a situation arose because of that advice, but that advice didn't cause any delays in the process of approving the 2019 budget, approving to have a deficit budget for country St. Martin. The Kingdom Council went ahead to still approve it and allowed Article 25 of the Kingdom Law on Financial Supervision to be applicable, and they also approved the liquidity support, the second tranche of the liquidity support. So that by itself was already an achievement. They further allowed the Minister of Finance of St. Martin to continue their discussion, to come to a consensus with CFT, because we differ on how we vision the budget, and those talks are ongoing. They give us ample time to finish that. So that would mean that if we meet consensus, that we have to readjust the budget. So that is what is happening. It is quite unfortunate that there are politicians in this country that are only busy with the negative, while a lot of positive is happening. And the misinformation out there is quite sad. And then what is it to do as a minister, or my colleague ministers, to every time when there is something that we have to react to it, we just don't have the time for that. And we are paid to represent the people, and we are paid to do a job. But let's all of us be positive about the development and the further reconstruction of our country. I can tell you for facts that every month we are improving financially. At the end of the day, when we will take this budget to be handled in Parliament, then you will see the progress that we make. I mean, we should stop doing this to one another. We are our biggest enemy. And it is so disappointing to see that you're paying somebody to represent you, and the only thing that they can do is negativism. On social media, they are being, the questions are being asked about certain items in the budget. If you read the elucidative notes of the budget, they will clearly spell out what that means. So they just go for what they see in the figures, and they build a whole story around it. It is so disappointing also for the organization of each and every minister here, that this is what we have to face on a daily basis. And then the word out there is, we don't do nothing. Well, I'm a very optimistic minister. This country is moving forward. And as I promised the people, that by 2020, the aim is to produce a balanced budget, and by 2021 have a surplus on the budget. The fact that we are making headways also with the Dutch support in alternative ways of financing projects, because mind you, the NRRP, that is the guide for the trust fund, the trust fund will cover only 35% of those projects. I have the obligation and the duty to find other funding for the other projects for my fellow ministers as well. And then when you're dragged into Parliament and being questioned about topics, it's their right. But imagine also that the work that we need to do, we need every minute of the day to conduct that work. I'm working 7 days a week. And the only thing I'm hearing is gossiping, melee. You know, if you want to believe somebody who comes out and tell you something the way it is, if it's a parliamentarian or a minister, make it your duty to find out the facts, the real facts of the matter. Because that is what we are facing every day. We have to fight and battle the melee that's going on in this country. It's a cancer in this country. We need to stop. This is an emergency situation, and the only thing we're doing is fighting with one another. Where is your responsibility? Even if you're in the opposition, you have a responsibility to move this country forward. You know, but what are they doing? We need to do this together. That is what we need to do. And I thank you. Sorry for my...
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Tell them, connecting you.
St. Martin BIC, being able to bring in the quality specialists that the country needs to perform the services that our people need is a critical part of our redevelopment or our national health reform process. SFB is going through their 3.0 restructuring and customer service plan. I'm the first person to admit that I get phone calls all the time from businesses, from consumers, from patients who are frustrated with the way that SFB is working. We recognize it, we are working to address it. But at the same time, I also have to understand that SFB has quite some challenges, because as access to healthcare has been a challenge, we find that companies are engaging in all types of unethical behavior in order to give insurance to people. Again, something's fundamentally wrong when people need to commit fraud in order to access healthcare. We have a commitment to examine the role and responsibilities of our family physicians. Personally, I'm of the belief that family physicians should be more preoccupied with prevention and spending face time with their patients rather than controlling sick leave. I think that's something that we need to really look at, but this is a legislative issue. In order for us to restructure the relationship with the family doctors, we need to look at the legislation, which is again incorporated in our general health insurance. But certainly our commitment is going forward. How do we deliver preventative care timely to our patients so that we don't need to wait to the point where they need to be referred abroad? Reforming our referral process. Again, we recognize the challenges that SFB goes through. SFB is not a travel agency, they're not a logistical office, but yet because they have to manage so many referrals abroad, they're saddled with the cost, with the responsibilities of doing that. And we certainly would like to look at how do we better manage our referral process. And every dollar that's spent locally is better than any dollar spent abroad. Those dollars circulate in our local economy, and right now we're looking at somewhere around 30, 35 million guilders a year that we spend in other countries. That money should be spent here, creating jobs here, creating revenue for the government here. Other things we're looking at, for example, health and all policies. You know, as the Ministry of VSR, we are looking at, for example, the health impact of the dump. But also simple things like we have a seatbelt law, we have a helmet law. By law, people are obligated to wear their seatbelts and helmets, right? We're looking at the health standards in terms of what the terms of reference for the dump looks like, or septic treatment plants. I get, again, complaints all the time about people, neighbors, who complain about septic water running in the streets. And while certainly, you know, that's the responsibility of the Ministry of Romy, certainly we acknowledge that the health consequences come back to the Ministry of VSR. Arriving here today, by no means has been any single person's effort. It has been a collaborative effort by so many different organizations and individuals. And I need to start by thanking some people, in particular, someone who's shown an unwavering confidence and support from the very beginning. And I'm referring to Chair Lady Sarah Westcott Williams. You know, when I first began this journey into politics, there's no person who has supported me and embraced me like you have, and I'm eternally grateful. First of all, in your confidence in me to serve as Minister of VSA in the first place. Secondly, you've been a mentor to me throughout my term as minister, and certainly as an advisor in terms of how do we bring the hospital project into reality. You've always been there as a resource, and again, it touches me that you've trusted me and you've given me the freedom to manage the process, the freedom to learn and to grow. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Special thanks to the coalition, to the leader, MP Theo Heiliger, again for allowing me to continue in my position as Minister of VSA. To the health tripartite, representatives from the Ministry of VSA, SFB, and SMMC, in particular Bonnie Decker, Lydia Banica, Elton Felici, and Ricky Williamsburg. You know, there's a core group of individuals that from the very beginning, before we conceptualized, or as we were conceptualizing the hospital project, it's this health tripartite that formed the basis for cooperation, for communication, for dialogue. And it's this health tripartite that has really laid the basis for where we are today. The financiers, of course, we need to thank. SFB, first and foremost, has been there from the beginning. Without SFB, we would not be here today. They're the company that's put the seed money to get the project started. And Glenn, of course, critical in that process. But also APS, APC, Vidanova Pension Fund, Vidanova Bank, Isla Refinery Pension Fund, the WIB, Fathom Life Insurance, and Fathom Pension Fund. And I see many individuals here. I hate to start naming names because undoubtedly I'll miss somebody, but you know who you are. Again, your support and your belief in the project has been very much appreciated. A special thanks to World Bank. Joe, sorry, I'm going to take my time. Special thanks to World Bank, Sabine Hader, Tassine Sayed, Carolyn Shelton, Marcelo Bortman, Michelle Keane, Dukla, and Eduardo. Governments past and present. Again, this is a project that has spanned, actually this December is 3 years in terms of from conception to where we are today. And it would be remiss of me to say that each of the governments has played their role and has supported in the process of arriving to where we are today. I only see a fellow former colleague, Minister Silveria Jacobs. Again, you've always been there as support, and I recognize and appreciate that. And also, in particular, Minister of Finance, former Minister of Finance, Michael Perrier, our current Minister of Finance, Minister Keerlings, Minister Gitterson. You know, we leaned on him pretty hard and his staff pretty hard in order to make sure that we got the building permits on time, and I must say that Bromi delivered that building permit as promised on time. Again, I'm very grateful. But, you know, we talk about the different ministries working as silos, but that's simply not true. You know, we have the Ministry of AZ, the fire department falls under the Ministry of AZ. We have the Ministry of Justice. From a traffic perspective, they needed to approve the helicopter pad, its location. And we found that every ministry in the government has put their shoulder to the task and has delivered in terms of ensuring that the project is where it is today. So again, there is a whole organization and team behind this.
We having a function this Christmas season, boy. Festival Village, 8 p.m. December 8th. Come win prizes with family and friends. You don't want to miss this, seeing that it is time for Wally Hammertown Christmas Bingo Spectacular. Festival Village on December the 8th. $10 for you to play, starts 8, so don't be late. Festival Village on December the 8th. Ham and turkey, airline tickets, hotel stays, Christmas goodies, Santa's bag with more to win. Time for Wally Hammertown Christmas Bingo Spectacular. Festival Village on December the 8th. $10 for you to play, starts 8, so don't be late. Festival Village on December the 8th. Yes, folks, the Lion Wally Hammertown Christmas Bingo Spectacular is on Saturday, December the 8th at the Festival Village. Tickets are available at the Lion's Den, at Van Dorp, at Big D Photo Studio, and from all Lion members, going at only $10, $20, or €10. So folks, get your tickets in time. It's going to be quite a spectacular bingo. Anybody bingo? Nobody bingo.
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact WIB today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices, the Wynwood Allen's Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
Who you're for.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Hello, St. Martin. My name is Jose Helaga and I play basketball. I have organized basketball events in St. Martin. Sport matters to me because it makes everybody come together in unity. So I challenge the businesses community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facility. I'm also asking the community to nominate local businesses in your area to take on the challenge and step up for sport because sports matter. Check out the Department of Sports SXM Facebook page for more information. Hashtag Sport Matter, hashtag Are You In?
The raffle for the 50 carnival passes that we wanted to give to members of the community an opportunity to win. The names of those 50 winners will be posted in the various media outlets within short. I want to take the opportunity to thank the 868 persons that participated, and though not everyone could have walked away with a season pass, I am sure we are all anxiously awaiting Carnival 50. Additionally, I wish to thank the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation for their presence and full support for the event held on Friday evening. The marine industry continues to play a significant role in providing a high quality of visitors to our destination. These visitors contribute indirectly to businesses such as car rental agencies, restaurants and bars, gas stations and others, and we are pleased to welcome back many of the mega yachts that have been for years made St. Martin's Marina their second home. Upon coming into office, one of the critical focuses for the tourism industry was the marine industry. And while I still have to visit several other key stakeholders, one of the most important events that I will be attending is the Antigua Charter Yacht Club Show. This is a forum in which key players in the marine industry from around the world gather to be updated on the developments within the Caribbean region and which they visit. I am pleased to be invited as a guest speaker this year for the Captain's Dinner. I will be highlighting our progress to date, especially as it relates to clearing the waterways and ensuring that it is safe for these mega yachts to return to St. Martin. As the tourism season picks up momentum, I would like to take this opportunity to remind our citizens of the value that visitors have on our destination and the sound quality and friendly customer service we need. We have seen the worst economic period on our island just after the devastation caused by Hurricane Irma, and we are still recovering. But our economy is still very fragile. In this regard, and in the interest of our sustainable redevelopment and the protection of our economy and the industry, I want to ensure that everyone does his or her part to make sure that our guests feel welcomed. This means that while we want to tell them about our particular service, whether on our beaches or on our streets, we must be creative in introducing our product and service to ensure we are not considered to be harassing or a nuisance to our guests. Be courteous to them and provide information when asked and even before they are asked so that their visit to our destination can be a memorable one. We must continue to be mindful of the increasing competition in the Caribbean for visitor arrival, as well as most of our neighboring islands, are heavily dependent on tourism for its economic activity. We as a government will continue to work towards restoring infrastructures that are necessary to ease and access the ease to our destination and things that will improve our standard of living. But our sustainable redevelopment depends on you, the people. I also want to take this opportunity to commend the management and staff of the Princess Juliana International Airport on the achievement of their 75th anniversary, which will be celebrated on December 3rd. As you know, the airport is still heavily engaged in the terminal building reconstruction, which is part of the phase 1 of the reconstruction plans, and we are looking forward anxiously in moving the daily operations back into the terminal. Again, congratulations to the staff and management at the PJIAE and entire board as well. Finally, on a critical note, it has been brought to my attention that there have been some instances where persons within the ministry have engaged in leaking information that was deemed confidential. While I as minister intend to ensure transparency within the ministry, I want to remind civil servants of the LMR, which governs and dictates all policies as it relates to public servants, myself included. It is vital that everyone understands the details of the confidentiality clause and the consequences that surround being discovered any breaching of confidentiality. As a reminder to staff, I advise the acting SG for TIAT to issue a memo to every department reminding them of their responsibility and to adhere to the confidentiality agreement they entered into when they became civil servants. I also held an emergency meeting with the department heads, during which I impressed upon them the need to ensure that their staff are following the necessary protocols that have been put in place for everyone's protection. Confidential documents simply must remain confidential.